Okay, next we're going to get into figured bass. Now, figured bass is something that we study in music theory. It's not everyone's favorite thing in music theory, and I only say that because it's definitely not mine. I remember learning this and just being like, why would anyone make music this way? And now I know, and I get it. There was a very good reason for this. The reason was that we're kind of firmly in the Baroque period here. And in the Baroque period, what people started really doing was putting more of an emphasis on horizontal line than vertical line. Now, what that means is vertical lines would be like chords, and horizontal lines would be like melodies. Now, that doesn't mean that we stopped paying attention to chords. It means that when it came to the chords, there started to be a little more flexibility. And composers started to say, okay, I want something like this, and not notating every single little note. And they just kind of said, play me something like this. And it was more like you had an accompaniment-ist, someone whose job it was to come up with the accompaniment. And that's this term that we're going to talk about in a minute called realizing figured bass. So what we have in figured bass is a series of symbols that tell the accompaniment player, usually a keyboard player, a harpsichord player, something like that, tells them what to play without writing out all the notes. It just says, here's what I want you to play using a kind of strange system of symbols. And these symbols, most of which we've seen before, because they're largely the inversion names, but they get a little bit more complicated. But they're all based on those inversion names, the 6, 6-4, 4-3, 2, stuff like that. So they're all based on that. And basically what we get in this notation system is I'm going to give you one note, and it's going to be the bass line. Then I'm going to give you the inversion. And you need to figure out what all the other notes are. And keyboardists in the Baroque period got really good at doing this. And there are keyboardists still that are really good at doing this. There are a lot of people that are really good at doing it. We don't really use it much anymore other than a theory exercise. But it is good to know. It does have some value in understanding this music a little bit better. So we're going to do a section on figured bass. I especially like, I think, the kind of historic significance of it, to know that, like, in the Baroque, this is how people made music. You would show up to a gig and get this, sheet of music with these symbols on it, and your job was just to look at it and say, okay, and know exactly what to play. It's kind of bizarre. So it's really interesting. Okay, so let's go in next into broad strokes, how this works and what it looks like.